Well, because this weekend in New Jersey, this Memorial Day weekend, was cold and rainy. One of the things that I did do, also with Mary, was we went to the movies, which
what?
I haven't done in a long time. Yeah. We saw A Quiet Place Part 2.
Ooh, I've heard really good things about it.
It was good. Did you see the first one? Or
yes.
You did? Bridget, I'm
I know.
impressed with you.
It's scary.
Yeah, well, we saw it in IMAX, because the tickets were, like, cheap. But I said to Mary, I was like, are we being stupid seeing this type of movie in IMAX? But no, it was good. It was good. So.
IMAX is like the huge wraparound like theater, right?
Well, it's not like super wraparound, but the sound is like the best quality. So that's why I was like, is this dumb for this movie? Or like, but it wasn't.
It's like 50% quiet.
Yeah, but it really wasn't. Because there was like a lot of, and I don't remember if the first movie was like this, where it was like background noise. And in this one, there was a lot more like people talking, because it just, the chain of events.
Okay.
You just like had more of that and less like sign language. There was still sign language, but it was more like talking. Because it was like, you saw like flashbacks and things like that. It was good. But it was like the IMAX, like when it was jump scare, I like yelled, like, and I was like, whoa, and like threw the popcorn by accident, and like,
So would you have people see it?
Yeah. If you see it, listeners, send us an email, sisterswhoseenit@gmail.com. Let me know your thoughts on the ending. I don't want to give spoilers.
Okay.
But like, the ending to me was a little like, eh. Like, I kind of wish it was tied a little better. I guess I'll just say that.
Okay.
Are you having a Quiet Place experience right now, Bridget?
Do you hear that?
I heard a weird bumping. It's not like an alien, right?
Shh, be quiet.
Oh, I can't see in your background because it's a fake background.
No, it's looking out. I think it's construction, but I think it's over. That was weird.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello!
Hi there!
Welcome back, listeners.
How we doing?
How you doing? This is MDW for us.
Woo!
Woo!
I'm burnt to a crisp. Ooh,
I'm
yeah.
not, but I wish I was sometime. Not everywhere.
I don't wish this. This hurts.
Okay, never mind. All right, listeners. So we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And ha! Yo, doesn't that, like, remind you of that Black Eyed Peas song, though?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
But then, like, it wasn't, obviously, the Black Eyed Peas song.
But it wasn't. This has a great soundtrack.
I know, a lot. I feel that way with a lot of his movies. Quentin Tarantino's movies, honestly.
The movie is, Kate?
Pulp Fiction.
1994.
Yes.
We got heavy hitters.
Yeah, this is a ensemble cast, if you will. And I forgot that Quentin also plays a character, and I did an eye roll, but this was like
love it.
A little earlier in his career. So actually, where did this movie fall in his lineup? Because I know this was like an earlier.
I believe it was right after Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, yes, you said that last time. Okay.
Fun fact, Reservoir Dogs has 2 more cursing of the F word than this movie. That movie had 265 F words.
Oh my God.
This movie has 263 F words. Forget about it.
That did not even, like, register with me.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, we need to do a synopsis, because there's a lot of, things happening. So, I kind of want you to do it.
Oh, I wanted you to do it!
No, you!
Kate! movie. I kind of want you to do it because I am already confused after watching the movie.
Okay.
And I am afraid I don't know how to do it.
You cannot do, or I cannot do, a linear synopsis. So I'm going to do, like, I'll talk each story.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we start off with a definition of the word pulp. Is it important for the story? No.
Well, Pulp Fiction is...
I know it's the title, but, like, I don't need to know word definition. Okay, fine. It's not going to be on a test, is the point.
You're not going to get quizzed, but I did think it was interesting.
Like, why they chose that for the title?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just me?
Okay.
Maybe this is an age thing.
Maybe. I just, like, I don't know. To me, it was like, okay, words. And I read it, but I didn't write it down.
So it's like old magazines that had like very like sensational subjects. And that was kind of trying to mimic these 3 stories. It was like a little too much and you know you shouldn't read it, but you can't wait to read it.
Right.
Because I was always like, why do they call it Pulp Fiction? But okay, continue. I don't know, that's interesting.
Well, that actually, now that you describe that, it actually makes a little more sense, especially knowing Quentin Tarantino and his many fetishes. There are many, in my opinion, but we'll talk about that. Anyway, okay, so we start off with a couple who are smoking in a diner, because it's the 90s, y'all, and it's gross. I actually don't know when this movie's supposed to be taking place. If it's like real time or like...
So I think that's part of the charm, is like it has like some 70s vibes, but some you can't tell what era it is. But you know it wasn't the 50s because of the one restaurant they went to.
Yeah, I don't know what it was supposed to be.
I don't know either, but it was kind of fun.
Okay, so they're smoking in a diner, and they're basically like, oh, somehow they get on the topic of like, we rob places, and they're like, why don't we rob this diner? Nobody robs restaurants. We are so smart. Let's rob the restaurant. So I'm just going to quick go through their little subplotty.
Yeah.
So then they decide to rob the restaurant, and in the restaurant are 2 other main characters, and they have their own storyline, Samuel Jackson and John Travolta. We love them both, people. Jules and Vincent. Okay, so they're in the restaurant. They're just kind of... Vincent's like in the bathroom. He has a lot of bathroom scenes.
Well, and unfortunately, it also leads to his demise.
I was going to say, the bathroom is the downfall for him, so those are the choices he made. And so basically, like, Jules, who's Samuel Jackson, he's just kind of chilling in the diners, watching this happen. He's like, whatever, I don't know, these people are annoying, whatever. And they're like, we're taking everyone's wallets, and we're crazy, and we're going to shoot them. And then basically Samuel Jackson flips it, and he's like, now I'm in charge, and I'm going to shoot you in the face. And then it turns into this kind of little standoff. But at the same time, which I could talk a little bit more in the Samuel Jackson, John Travolta subplot, he's kind of going through his own little religious epiphany, if you will.
A transitional period.
Where he is like, I don't think I want to be like in this gangster lifestyle anymore.
Yeah.
So he's like, so normally I would just like shoot you in the face. He's like, but because of what I'm going through right now, I'm going to let you go. And I'm actually going to give you money. So take some money and go on your merry way and stop being annoying in a diner. And that's what happens. That's cool. And okay, so then we've got Samuel Jackson and John Travolta. So their whole subplot is they're basically 2 hitmen. They worked for this guy, Marcellus Wallace, who's like the big honcho of the town. He's like the crime boss. I don't know. We don't know. He's important. And so he basically, in the beginning, he sends these guys to go get a suitcase of, we don't know what it is, but I guess it's like gold or it's something that's expensive because it's shiny.
It's a hot topic in the internet world.
I'm sure it is. It's probably gold. I mean, like what?
So no one really knows.
Oh my God.
And the most extreme answer was it's Marcellus' soul.
Okay, that's like...
And the simplest answer, I think, is gold.
Okay, I think it's gold. So...
Okay.
Whatever it is, it's expensive and it's important. So they're going to get that because there's some random guy who I guess got involved and he was trying to like cheat Marcellus out of this. So they go and pretty much murder 3 people in there, and then they accidentally murder one other guy, and then that turns into them doing a whole subplot of they have to clean up this car because there's literally literally an exploded person in the car. That's a whole subplot. Happens kind of quickly. But then from that experience, that's where Samuel Jackson is like, wow, we should have got shot because this guy shot at us, but he missed all these bullets, even though like we weren't trying to get him to miss. He just missed, and like we should have been dead and we didn't. This is like totally a miracle. I'm done with this lifestyle. Like, I gotta go. And then Vincent's like, well, I gotta go take our boss's wife on a date. JK, it's not a date, but like it kind of sounds like a date, and it's a weird setup. Also, the boss has, like, killed people over, like, stupid things. So, like, I'm being put in a weird position.
It's awkward.
It's so awkward. So then he goes and does that. And that's with Uma Thurman. So she's Marcellus's wife. Her name is Mia. And they go to this, like, restaurant and they just, like, eat and talk and dance. And then she is doing lots of drugs and he does lots of drugs. And she accidentally snorts up some heroin.
Yikes.
Has a OD. She ODs. So then there's this whole thing where he has to, like, go save her, and oh my gosh, she could die! And I hate it all. There's a lot. If you do not like needles, listeners, this is not... There's gonna be a lot of times you're gonna have to close your eyes, because there's a lot of needle scenes.
Oh, a lot of needle scenes. A lot of close-up needle scenes.
A lot of close-up. But then she ends up being okay, and then he's like, oh, what? Are you gonna tell your husband? Because then I'm literally gonna die. And she's like, no, I'll get in trouble too. So, like, it's our secret. And then that's it. So then, you know, Vincent, again, kind of avoids death another time in, like, the same day. How crazy. Okay, I'm gonna jump to the other plot. Bloop. Jump to the other plot, because they're all interconnected, if you can't tell already. All right, so the other plot is we have a boxer. His name is Butch. Butch is going to be having a fight, not with Rocky. Don't worry. Thank God it's not with Rocky, because it ends up going badly for that person. But basically, he's going to have this upcoming fight, and so Marcellus is meeting with him. Marcellus is like, listen, I know you're very talented, and we all know you're going to win, but for whatever reason, we're going to all have you throw the fight, because it's got stuff to do with money. I will pay you money, but you have to throw the fight. Well, Butch decides, I'm gonna take the money, but then I'm not gonna throw the fight, and I'm gonna run away and get away with it. And so he tries to do that, and him and his, like, girlfriend's thing are hiding out, basically, but then there's this whole...
This is what made the movie unnecessarily long.
This is the whole plot line with a watch.
Christopher Walken.
Which I love him, but, like, I just wish he had a better thing to be talking about than a watch that was up his butt for like 2 years or something gross. It's so gross. Anyway, so there's this really important watch that was up many butts that's important to him. So he's like, I gotta get this watch. And then that kind of leads to him trying to sneak back to the apartment. He ends up killing Vincent. Because Vincent, again, you know, he's just on the toilet, man. Like, this guy's got some bowel movement issues. I think he should have seen a doctor and maybe, like, things could have been different. So kills him. Then he's like, I got away with it. I got the watch. Nobody knows where I am. This life is good. And then he literally runs into Marcellus Wallace. And then this turns into, oh my God, another just
dark.
Like really weird turn where they basically get into a store and then they get held hostage Saw style. And it turns into Saw, like maybe a porn parody of Saw, but like still kind of like Saw in my opinion. And there's like a subplot of that. But then Butch like breaks out and he then decides to save Marcellus, and then they both escape, and then they're both like, you know what? We'll call it a truce. And then that's it. And then it ends.
Yep.
So that's the end. So
this isn't one story. This is multiple stories and multiple time frames, and you don't know what era it is. You don't know what story you should be reading, and so I guess you just kind of go along for the ride.
Yeah.
But I'm impressed, Kate. I feel like that was really hard to do.
I don't even know. And like in the movie, all of these are interwoven.
Yes.
It's not linear like that. So you're kind of like jumping around and you start to, and you see things out of order too.
Yeah.
So you kind of don't know, like, and then at the end you kind of are able to piece together like, oh, this was the chain of events that happened and blah, blah, blah.
I wrote the 2-sentence synopsis.
What's that?
Vincent Vega and Jules Winfield are hitmen with a penchant.
Pension? Like
penchant.
What?
Penchant.
That sounds like an SAT word. Skip it. No.
with a desire for philosophical discussions. Their story is interwoven with those of their boss, Marcellus Wallace, his wife Mia, boxer, Butch Coolidge, fixer, Winston Wolfe, forgot about Winston Wolfe, aka Sister Act, and a pair of robbers.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like I can read and we can kind of keep going, but maybe as the story comes up, we can just follow the story.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But the word that they use, philosophical, I 100% agree with that because, like, in the beginning, I don't know, I kind of was like, okay, it's lengthy dialogue. It's one of those movies, like, it's 2.5 hours long and it's not like there's crazy amount of events happening. There's really not that many. It's a lot of, like, talking. And this is definitely a movie that, like, if, you know, you and a group of friends like to be chillin', as the youth say, if you know what I'm saying, this might be a good movie to watch.
You know, and they didn't get, like, mad at each other. They seemed like two people that like to talk at each other a lot, and they somehow tolerated it.
Yes.
Which, I think if there was a third person, the third person would be the person that we felt like was annoyed.
Well, Jules gonna have to find someone else to talk about that stuff with, because what is happening?
Yeah. And, okay, I think we should just get going and see where our stories go. How about that?
Yeah, and you know, I'm looking at my notes and I see that the credits were almost like a 70s style, because I wrote that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, these are like very 70s. So maybe it was supposed to be in like the 70s-ish.
I
So,
think
I don't know.
think so, but I think it was purposefully not like a defined era. But I know that he was kind of paying homage, but also like making fun of some of the exploited nature of the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I think with like the use of the N-word and drugs everywhere and just kind of extreme. I mean, you might need like a trigger warning on this one because there are like some scenes in this movie that I'm like, holy. Like you see him shoot up heroin.
Yeah.
And then you also see some guy get raped.
Yeah.
Like, how is this not like horror, you know? Like, it's kind of its own thing.
I felt that subplot was horror. I was like, this is Saw? Is this where Saw came from? Y'all are sickos. Get together. Oh my god, but I have to remind you this. Did you see who was listed as one of the executive producers? It's someone we like. Because obviously this was Miramax, so like we hate Harvey Weinstein, but like...
I don't know, who?
Danny DeVito!
What?
I love your work!
Everywhere and everything! Danny DeVito!
I died. Unless there's another Danny DeVito in Hollywood, which would make me really sad. I just want to believe it's like the same one.
Oh my god, articles exist. Danny DeVito played a pivotal role in helping with Pulp Fiction.
Yes!
Like, he's everywhere and everything.
He's
Danny
everywhere
DeVito.
and everything.
You know, Kate, he's a Jersey guy.
I know. That's why we love him.
Oh, God, I love him.
That's why he's so cool.
Oh, he's the best.
Yes. So I just had to point that out because I was like, oh, Danny, thank God you're here. Gracing us with your presence in the background.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I cannot believe I missed that. Okay, let's get into it. We start off with the robbers, who the one guy is pretty famous.
Yeah, and I couldn't pin where else I've seen him, but you're right. I know he is like in other stuff.
And then the female, I don't know who she was.
Honey Bunny of Pumpkin.
This is also a philosophical discussion, which is we keep robbing banks and everyone keeps playing a hero. Mm-hmm. And why don't we rob other places that don't have a hero complex? And then they went all into basically like a capitalism discussion of how managers at a restaurant couldn't care less to be a hero because they don't care about the money because they work at a restaurant and no one at the restaurant is going to be a hero. So they spontaneously decide to rob it, which I felt like was a little bit of a poor planning.
Yeah, they didn't need like any hype. They were just like, all right, you want to do it right now? And they're like, yeah. And then they like, get into it. I was like, that's wild.
Yeah, they were nuts.
You know, that lady also put like 8 cups of sugar in her coffee. She was like, I'll have another cup of coffee.
Same.
And she poured like so much sugar. I was like, well, no wonder. Look what we're
It reminded
with.
me of Dad. Do you know how many things of Splenda he puts in his coffee?
Yes.
Do you know how many? Say the number.
Yeah, 8.
8 people. 8.
Yeah. It's like extra large.
Give me an extra large coffee. Tell them to put 8 Splendas. No, I'm not. Stop. 8?
And there's like 3 extra larges of those in a day. So, yep. Yep.
Okay, so she's hyped up on sugar, which is honestly pretty much the lowest drug of this movie.
I was going to say, yeah, I think so.
We then get introduced to John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson in the car. And I gotta tell you, I didn't love John Travolta's accent.
What was the accent?
So,
what was
like,
it supposed to be?
Well,
I should
felt
say.
like he was like trying to be like a gangster, but like he sounded like he had a black voice in the beginning. Where if you go back to the first scene and listen to his voice, and then you go to the last scene, he like changes his voice. I don't know if anybody else noticed this.
That's so interesting. I did not.
I felt like it was weird. Like he was like trying to be like tough, and it was bizarre.
Like just talk like Danny Zuko. He's a tough dude,
right?
He's in a gang.
But this was a little bit more of, I mean, Danny Zuko had to be a little tougher because...
Well, yeah, this was a dangerous...
But he was just traveling to Amsterdam talking about a Royale with cheese.
They were talking about hash, and I know that there was like a McDonald's part about to be brought up, so in my brain I kept thinking they were talking about hash browns, and then I realized like, oh, no, it's weed.
It's drugs.
Get it together, Katie. I'm like, Katie, this is an adult movie, this is rated R, okay? They're not talking hash browns in the morning.
We did have to switch from Space Jam, so let's give yourself a break.
Well, and Mighty Ducks from last week, too, so yeah.
Yeah, and this is where he sets up the scene where Marcellus' wife, Mia, and they have this whole rumor that some guy gave her a foot rub and Marcellus threw him out a balcony and now he can't, like, speak properly. And this is the whole, like, oh my god, he asked me to take her on a date and I don't want to get thrown out a balcony. And then Samuel L. Jackson's like, well, don't give her a foot rub. And then they have this whole discussion about foot rubs.
Oh my god, it's so long. I'm like, guys, like, oh my Jesus Christmas. Just like, because it was like Samuel Jackson's like, come on, you don't think he overreacted? And John Travolta's like, no, like, foot massage, you know what that means. Samuel Jackson's like, what does that mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just a foot massage. And then he's like, well, would you give a guy a foot massage? And then Samuel Jackson's like, no, gross. I was like, oh my god, you guys, this is like the stupidest thing we could be talking about right now.
It was so stupid. And
it's so stupid.
It only was talked about because they were like punctual to their like hit, basically, to murder people.
Yeah, that's why I think this movie was so long, because it was just a lot of that type of dialogue that doesn't further the plot. We could give it a big old snip and we're still gonna have the same movie.
I am with you. I'm with you on snipping that. I was annoyed at how long this was.
I can't.
Okay, so then they get into the apartment with the guys that basically screwed Marcellus and they're getting their money, the suitcase, the epic suitcase.
Wait, do you know what Samuel Jackson says when they walk in? The first line?
Oh my god, no. What is it?
He goes, hey, kids!
Oh, Jesus.
And I just thought it was really funny because I was like, you're about to murder all these people. You're calling them kids. That's great.
I loved his character until the end in the diner scene where he like went on and on about the Bible just verse. And I'm like, we get it. Yes. You had a moment. I think it's interesting. I'm done with it. Like, you talked so much longer than necessary.
Right. Like, this isn't like speech class. Like, you don't need to like hit a minimum threshold of words as you're up there, you know? Like, you could just get the point out and then we're good.
No.
Yo, but he's great in this scene.
He is, and like, I'm not gonna lie, when he goes on and on about hamburgers for breakfast, and he's like, can I try it? If somebody was gonna murder me and they wanted to eat my burger, I think that'd be like the scariest thing in the world for me. I'd be like, you can try this burger, I'm gonna die. Good God. Yep. And then he goes, that is a tasty burger.
And then he's like, well, can I have a sip of your soda? Gotta wash it down. I was like, it's so scary. And then he also goes a good line, which I want to somehow incorporate into my life a little bit more. But I'm going to need to find a friend named Brad, because he goes, check out the big brain on Brad. There are some good lines sprinkled in. It's just there's a lot of like, you know, muddy lines that don't need to be there.
Yes. And there was 3 guys in the apartment.
Well, technically there were 4.
Technically there was 4, the one hidden in the bathroom. But the one guy must have ratted out the other guys, and that's how...
So do you think the guy who was in the corner, which I already forget his name...
I didn't know his name.
I think that was the rat?
Yeah, I think he ratted them out and was like, here's where they are, and was just like so scared.
Because I was wondering why he didn't get shot in the apartment, because they take him with them, and I didn't know why that was happening, but that actually makes a lot more sense now that you say that.
Yeah, so crazy. And then now we switch to like Bruce Willis.
Yes, this switches to Bruce Willis, and I go, hey, Bruce Willis! You know, it's very sad. I used to always like Bruce Willis, and I still like him in most movies, but my opinion of him has changed.
Why?
Well, because I didn't read, but I listened to the audiobook, the Kevin Smith audiobook. That was like his autobiography thingy a couple months ago. And he basically talks about how like Bruce Willis is like a really terrible person. And he tells this whole like account how he was a director for a movie that Bruce Willis was in. And Bruce Willis was like such a horrible person. And like not just to him, like to everyone.
Really?
Like, Bruce Willis, you're a
What?
That sucks.
No. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, he very much played the same like characters he plays, which is like he's a tough boxer that has to be like,
and he's like quiet.
Yeah, he doesn't speak a lot. He's all male. But you know what was interesting? And Mose and I were talking about this. Is like since 1994 till now, you've had so many things happen: plastic surgery, more exposure to people, more nakedness of people. That like both female and male bodies have like higher standards. And when Bruce Willis, who's supposed to be this like super tough boxer, takes off his shirt, he just looks like meh.
Looks like a guy.
Which I kind of am sad for like our generation now, because he still had like muscle and was cut, but we are used to seeing like The Rock. And it was so weird like seeing that and being like, I remember Bruce Willis being like, he had a 12-pack and blah, blah, blah. And you know how much I hate talking about bodies and all that, but it was really jarring to like not notice how much it has changed in like the last 30 years.
Well, and it's also like one of those things where we never see him box. Like it's just talked about. Yeah. So we never get to see him actually like doing any punches or even like practicing. Like there's straight up, he doesn't even punch anyone. Well, he punches one guy when he's in the Saw subplot. When he's in Saw 12 or whatever. But like that's it. And like even that, you're kind of like, I mean, I guess. But like, I don't know. I think it would have been different if you saw him like actually being physical, because then even though maybe you didn't look it, like you would have at least seen it. But no, we don't.
No.
We just hear about it and talk about it because dialogue.
Yeah. And when he's meeting Bruce Willis at like the club or whatever, like this quiet place is.
You mean Marsalis? When he's meeting Marsalis?
Yeah. Yes. The back of his head, did you notice like the Band-Aid?
Yeah, what is that?
So this is where people have the theory that like his soul is in the briefcase.
Okay.
Because of like the band, like what's the point of the Band-Aid? And I didn't follow the internet hole too much, but I would appreciate if someone else did and let me know what happens. But that was to me kind of like, okay.
Here's my theory. My theory is he has a mind control device that was put in the back of his brain by Quentin Tarantino, and Quentin Tarantino got really, really high and he just wanted to talk a lot. So he basically just talked for all the characters for an entire movie. That's my theory.
Wait, is Quentin Tarantino an alien?
Yes.
I could see that. He's definitely an alien. Like Men in Black style, he's definitely an alien.
Oh my god, he totally would be one of those aliens, 100%.
Living among us.
Living among us.
Oh my
Third
God.
grade teacher. Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. Like his movies, they're unique, and I appreciate like how much they bring like something different. But he just, there is something like he likes to talk a lot. He just, I feel like even in interviews with him, I'm like, oh, like end it. Like, do you know when to end it? So yeah, I could see him taking over everyone's brain and just talking for them so he could talk.
Yep.
And okay, so then we kind of build up to the John Travolta Mia scene where he takes her out on a date.
Oh, but don't worry, before that, he shoots up.
Well, I'm like, okay, so he's like getting ready for this date and he's stressed, but now he's like a heroin addict?
Yeah.
What? Because first of all, I thought they were really really too casual about that.
That's why I wonder if this was like the 70s, because they were like, oh man, cocaine is out. Like the new thing is heroin. And I'm like, I mean...
Isn't that late 70s, 80s, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, it was just so like... bleh.
Wait, who did you think the drug dealer looked like?
Well, he's Redhead Jesus. He's also a famous guy.
Yes. I thought he looked like David Spade, who was dressed up as the Big Lebowski for Halloween.
Wow.
I was like, oh my god, this David Spade lookalike. Get out of here, selling drugs. No.
I mean...
He had like the robe. I was like, okay, you're not the dude. You wish, please.
I mean, he kind of felt like he was the dude, wasn't he?
Well, the dude doesn't sell heroin, Bridget.
No, I know, but like he was trying to have that vibe.
Yeah, so he gets high, and then he goes to Mia's house, and she's watching him on the
I
cameras.
didn't like it. I did not like it.
Soup's creepy. You could edit this movie to be like a horror movie in some spot. Yeah, like do some creative editing and
She had a really weird personality because, like, I'm sorry. If I was married to like a mob boss and then he was like out of town and my mob boss, husband, whatever, said, I'm gonna let one of my friends take you out on the town. But she picks the restaurant, like she's got all the cocaine, she's setting up dancing. Why couldn't she just take herself out?
Or like, Mia, where are your friends, honey?
Yeah, and her plot was weird, but like, you know, women roles. So I don't know.
And again, I'm just convinced Quentin Tarantino only wanted a female character subplot so that he could zoom in on her feet, because this is one of his fetishes, is he has a foot fetish.
You know what was funny too about all the women in this movie, if you notice, they all had like really big eyes and like short hair.
It's weird.
It was like a very doll-like vibe I got from them.
Yeah, but every movie of his, he zooms in on only women, their feet.
Did you see a lot of feet in this movie?
Yeah, it's in every one of his movies, Bridget. This isn't just me. Like,
but
this is a thing.
But you just watched this one. When did he zoom in on her feet?
He zoomed in on her feet when she was at the house getting ready. He zooms in on her feet because she takes her shoes off for the dance competition, which is gross, girl. Like, you don't know where that floor's been. Keep your shoes on. That's how you get hepatitis C.
Ew.
And then she had them off again when she goes back to the house, and then she has them off when she ODs. So, like, she basically wears no shoes, but the men all wear shoes all the time, so. But this is, like, every movie. Kill Bill, there's zoom-ins of her feet where she's wiggling the toes.
Ew.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't need that. It's I'm telling you, every movie. It's foul. So that's one of his fetishes.
Okay, we gotta move on from that. Let's move on to where they go to eat, which is basically like an updated Dave & Buster's Grease style.
You know what do you remember that place called Spaghetti Western? Do you remember that? That's what it reminded me of. Even though, like, it wasn't Western, I was like, it's got that vibe where everyone's like, we're a character.
Definitely had that vibe. And the camera, I don't know if you noticed that, like, the camera was, like, dizzy, too. Like, you were trying to follow, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. But they end up in a car, and then they start having a meal in a car, and they talk about how a shake is $5.
Yeah, again, I was like, is this an important part to the movie? It's not. Give it a snip. Move on.
Yeah.
I would eat at that restaurant, though, because that looks like a really fun place to be.
I mean...
Like, even now, I'd be like, let's do it. I don't want to do the dance competition. Like,
are you sure? Because, like, that's why I'd go.
I mean, not, like, solo. Like, if it was, like, Grease style where we're all together and then someone walks around, like, that, I think I'd be a little more comfortable. But, like, all the eyes on us, I'm like, oh, that's pressure.
Do you think they won the dance competition because no one else competed?
Because everyone's like, that's Marcellus's wife. And we'll literally get shot in the face.
Not
so, like, don't do it.
Wait, Kate, now you're, like, getting me to think about Quentin Tarantino's foot obsession, and he talks about the foot massage, and that's what threw the guy out the window, and we have another feet thing. Drink every time there's a foot fetish reference.
He's a foot fetish. His other fetish is just, like, old Hollywood movies, which, like, all his movies have that vibe, where it's, like, based in not modern day, or it's, like, homaging to different types of movies.
Yeah. So, okay, so they twist. They do a twist without shoes on, and I have the same line. I go, why are they taking off their shoes?
Nasty! twisty people. I mean, you could twist, like, you could still move your shoes.
I feel like shoes help dancing, but that's just me.
Well, and John Travolta, like, jumped right in there. Like, he at first was like, I don't want to. And she's like, we're doing it. And then he was like, okay. I was like, well, that didn't take a lot of convincing. Did you just, like, want to move or something?
Funny is like, okay, let's look at the dance scene. I think everyone thinks it's like this epic dance scene. It was like 3 seconds. They like shimmy and shook their hips, and it wasn't really that interesting.
I don't think it's epic, but I think it's iconic because I don't think there's other movies from that time that have something like that. It's not good dancing. It's just like identifiable.
Okay, I'll give you that. So then they're kind of vibing, and he's like nervous because like they're kind of vibing, and she's like, come home for one drink, and he was like, okay. And then once again he goes to where, Katie?
The bathroom. That's his second home. He lives there now. Yeah.
And she decides to basically rob his jacket and take drugs from his jacket that she thinks is coke.
Yeah.
But it's really heroin. And then we end up into the OD scene, which was very violent.
I hate it.
Very violent. Fun fact about this scene. So basically he flips out and he goes back to Redhead Jesus' apartment.
/ David Spade dressed as
the
Big
dude.
Lebowski. Yes.
Yep. And basically that guy's like, don't bring her here. And he's like, I'm on your front lawn. You need to help. I need to figure this out.
He crashes into the side of his house, which I thought was really funny. I was like, that's great.
I honestly, it was like a level of like, he was going to die if she dies, right? Like,
yeah.
It was, even if it was an accident. And I read that the way they did this scene, because just how gross it was that they like saw him with the needle putting like heroin into him, they equally show the needle going into her like really deeply.
Yeah.
They filmed the scene backwards.
I did know that, yeah, because it's like, there's no way you could film that any other way. No way, yeah.
It is such a huge puncture. Like, you'd have to have like a needle that then like contracts back in or something, because there's just no way. But you like saw the needle, so yikes. That was horror movie style, like that scene, and her like getting up and like losing her mind. I want a doctor here. Is that what happens with an adrenaline shot? Like, is that what happens? Don't know.
Okay, because isn't like an EpiPen is basically adrenaline, right?
I guess, but this was like a big one.
No, I know, but like I don't know. I'm just like thinking of like, I've seen people give themselves like an EpiPen shot and like they don't have like a spaz attack.
Yes. Then we get to the most annoying scene, which is Christopher Walken talking about a clock up his butt. And all they need to talk about was how important this watch was, which was the only reason that Butch, aka Bruce Willis, has to come back to his apartment. Because like him and his girlfriend think they got away after the fight, and then she forgot the watch. So like this whole side plot scene is all about going back to get the watch. Why did we need 40 minutes to do that?
We didn't. And also when Bruce Willis gets told all this, he's like a 7-8-year-old. And I'm sorry, I don't think Quentin knows many 7 or 8-year-olds, or at least he didn't at this point in time, because that kid is not sitting there that long registering all those words you're saying. And they're not going to then be like, wow, this is super important. They're just going to be like, haha, but that's funny. And like, that's how that realistically would have played out. It was stupid.
If it was so important, bring it to your boxing match and put it in the locker. Like, so annoying.
This is so long.
I was like, can we fast forward? So we fast forward in my mind, and then that gets us to the scene where he has to go back to his apartment.
Well, we see him win the fight, and then he runs.
Yes.
And he gets in a taxi with this weird lady. It was weird. And again, that was another scene
that
was
was
like
another
really long.
unnecessary scene.
She was like, you killed that guy. And he was like, oh. And she's like, what does it feel like to kill someone? I'm like, shut up. We're in a time crunch. Jesus. But then that's when he goes.
Yes.
Sees a girlfriend and she's like, oops, I don't have it. And then he is a jerk.
Okay, at this scene, I'm so stressed out for him to go back because obviously, like, everyone's waiting to kill him. And, you know, he does like a quick look-see around his apartment. He gets the watch and he's like, oh my God, I'm so lucky no one's here. You would think he'd then hightail it out of there. But no, he pulls out like a toaster strudel.
Goes to get a Pop-Tart. Oh, yeah.
And here we go. And then that's how he finds the gun for John Travolta. And you're just thinking to yourself, that's not how I think normal people would act. I think they'd get the watch and run out as fast as possible, right?
Also, why didn't John Travolta hear him, like, inside? Like, he wasn't being quiet. Like, he was making a ruckus. I don't know what kind of poops Vincent Vega's having, but, like, that really was his downfall, was his bowel movements. So this is a lesson for us all, everyone. I mean, eat your fiber, you know?
Eat your fiber,
Eat your fiber. have some yogurt.
And because this is all at different time periods, we think John Travolta's out of the movie, but it's at different time periods, so this is why we like go back and see different scenes of John Travolta. So at this point, he thinks he's like the luckiest man in the world that he kills John Travolta, drives away, but don't know he literally runs into Marcellus.
Literally
runs into him. Which I kept thinking, you couldn't have backed up. You had to literally
exactly
run over
I was
him
like,
too?
I would have backed the up and just like, he's not in a car. What's he gonna do?
Well, and he's gonna be chasing you anyways.
Right.
Yeah, and also, by the way, Mose and I were talking about this. As a mob boss, like, Marcellus really got, like, the bad end of the stick. He's, like, carrying coffee and donuts for somebody. For who? Doesn't he have more people that work for him? Like, why is he out in the streets? Like, what's happening?
Maybe he just wanted to take a little stroll down Englewood by himself.
I just feel like he has people, and he's not using them, and they're not really respecting him, aka taking his money and leaving, because he's had this twice happen to him.
Well, did you see when he gets run over, and then all those ladies are like, oh my god, is he dead? Like, nobody's helping him. They're just talking about how he might be dead, which, like, again, listeners, like, don't respond that way. Like, jump into CPR if you know it, or, like, maybe do something. And then he wakes up, and Kathy Griffin is like, I will testify for you in court. I was like, Kathy, get out of here. You're crazy.
First of all, in the credits, it was like Kathy Griffin as herself. And I'm like, you're telling me in 1994 people knew her? I can't.
She's playing herself. That's so funny.
Oh my god. But this, you get into the gun store and he runs in there because he's hiding, and then they get into this big fight, and basically Bruce Willis is going to kill Marcellus, and the gun owner stops him because they want to like rape and torture them.
It wasn't even a gun shop though. It was like a pawn shop, I think.
Okay.
Because it was random stuff. For this should have been the first clue that this was the worst store to run into. They had a Confederate flag on the wall. I was like, ew, we're in California. Like, what is going on here? But then, it turns into Saw.
And it was so gross that, like, his friend is a cop that comes in and, like, does the dirty stuff that doesn't need to be in detail. And, again, I feel like as a mob boss, he's really getting the end of the stick in different, like, scenes. And somehow Bruce Willis somehow gets out. Like, how?
They, like, didn't tie his restraints well or something stupid. And they're like, we're gonna have this... He was, like, a bondage slave in, like, this full suit. He can't even talk, though. So I was like, you're gonna have the guy who can't, like, say words be the lookout? Like, how does that make any sense? You guys are idiots.
I don't know, but it was so gross. I hated it because that guy was, like, locked in a box, and I hated everything. And then the most, I would say, like, over manly scene is then he gets out, he punches him, and then he has that moment of clarity, like, okay, I should probably go, like, save him because he's not, like, dead. They're, like, torturing him. And in this pawn shop, okay, yeah, you're right, now it's not a gun shop. He has he takes a hammer, and he's like, it's literally like a video game. He's like, hammer, level up.
Like, choose your weapon of choice.
And then he goes to, like, a chainsaw, and he's like, and then he gets to the sword, which is very, like, Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
Right?
Yeah. I think I would have gone with the chainsaw. I'm not gonna lie.
I would have tried to find a gun.
Well, yeah, and there definitely were guns. Like, he just didn't look long enough. I think he got fixated on the sword.
Yeah. That scene, to me, takes this movie to, like, a whole nother level, and even at the end, first of all, I can't believe they show it all. Like, they show him getting...
I mean, it's, like, blocked, so you don't see, like,
But, like, they show him.
No, yeah.
Basically, then, he somehow gets out of it, and the one guy's dead, and then he wants to torture the other guy.
Yeah, he shoots him in the...
Yeah, which I feel like that should be the punishment.
I was gonna say, that's a good response to that.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said, though, about it? Because I thought this was good writing.
Okay, what?
Marcellus calls him a rapist, and I go, yes, Marcellus, that guy is a rapist. Thank you for not calling him gay. Because I kind of was like, ugh, don't make this like a homophobic thing. But instead, he was like, no, he's a rapist. Like, it doesn't matter who he raped. Like, he's a rapist.
Yes.
Like, yes, he is. Shoot him in the again. Double tap.
Yeah. I'm kind of intrigued that they didn't show like an after scene of him like really badly torturing the guy. But maybe they tested it with an audience and they're like, this is too much.
Oh, that would have been way too much. Because like, we'll just move on.
So then this basically frees Bruce Willis to steal that motorcycle, and hightail it out with his girlfriend and just get the heck out of there. And he has like a bunch of stupid lines in it.
Yep. She's like, where'd you get this motorcycle? He goes, it's a chopper. I was like, shut up. It's a motorcycle. You're so annoying. All of you. Oh my God. Quentin, shut up. All right. Jesus.
Then the movie actually acknowledges that it is so confusing that you see a black screen and then it just says the Bonnie situation. Do you remember that?
Who's Bonnie?
I don't know, but that's like, it literally like shoots a frame and it goes, the Bonnie situation. As if we go to like another chapter in the movie.
I know who Bonnie is.
Who's Bonnie?
Bonnie is the wife of Jimmy, aka Quentin Tarantino's character. And that was that whole subplot where they were like, oh my God, he's gonna get divorced if we don't clean this up when his wife comes home. I was like, okay, we should still be concerned about cleaning it up. Number one. That's like number one. Number two, like, I guess we don't want to get divorced, but like, I just feel like there's a hierarchy that we're like skipping around. So
I am too, and we just came from like a really intense scene and now we're gonna like worry about cleaning a car. But like, first of all, John Travolta just haphazardly shoots a kid like out of nowhere.
He shoots him in the face, and then he's like, oh man, I shot Marvin. I was like, okay, Michael Jordan with that acting. Jeez, come on, have a little reaction.
And this is why Samuel L. Jackson calls Jimmy, aka Quentin Tarantino, and they go to his house. Because, I mean, first of all, I don't think Jimmy really was the guy to help.
Jimmy was the worst.
All Jimmy knew how to do was call the wolf, and the wolf was Harvey Keitel.
No, Jimmy didn't call him.
Oh.
Marcellus called him.
Oh my God.
Because Samuel L. Jackson called Marcellus, and it was like, oh my God, Jimmy's gonna get divorced if we don't. And again, I'm like, does Marcellus need to know this? Like, can't we just say, like, we need someone here quick? Like, this is so weird. And then that's how the wolf comes, because Marcellus calls him. They went to Jimmy's house because they were like, we have to get off the road, and my friend is, like, right here. So it was circumstantial, but, like, yeah, Jimmy sucked.
I had this line where Harvey Keitel shows up as the wolf, and I just wrote, hey, I'm here to get Dolores.
They got Dolores. We gotta clean up this mess. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like a little bit like, okay. Shooting someone in the face, like by accident, and it exploding all over this white car was this very epic cinema scene. But then the like play-by-play of cleaning it up, and then like, why Quentin Tarantino? Why do we have to see you acting about coffee and your wife?
That's what I mean.
Honestly, he wasn't that great.
No.
So then we get back to the diner, and now we like have come full circle. Is that where we're at, or did I miss anything?
Well, then, yeah, because then they get like the weird outfits, which, by the way, there's a scene where they're like, the guy's like, all right, you gotta change your outfits, take an outside shower. I'm like, they're like covered in blood, and we're like out in public now. Okay, no, it's fine, guys. This makes more sense, I guess. Let's do it. And then they put on the clothes that are Jimmy's, and then Harvey Keitel and Quentin Tarantino are like laughing at them, and Quentin Tarantino's like, yeah, you guys look like dorks. And then Vincent goes, these are your clothes, man. I thought that was so funny, because I was like, yeah, why are you, like, I'm confused. Like, that's just so weird. And again, a little unnecessary, but they are in that outfit, and then literally from there, they're like, okay, I'm hungry, because it's still somehow the morning, let's go to a diner. So then that's how they end up at the same diner. And then they have more stupid philosophical conversations about bacon and pigs, and I don't need it, all right? We've already seen Babe. We already know, okay? I don't need it here. I don't.
And at this moment, Samuel L. Jackson's like, listen, I've decided in this moment, after talking about pigs, that I am done being a hitman. And John Travolta goes, you know what? I'm going to go to the bathroom and think about this.
And he brings a book. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Never ending.
And that's when you get the crazy robber scene, which in some retrospects was really cool, because they talked about like, oh, you're at a restaurant, you won't have a hero, it'll be easy to like rob everybody. And like, they didn't really know that they had like two of the scariest murderers in the restaurant.
And because they didn't plan, they didn't factor in people who were in the bathroom, because like there's bathrooms.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I thought that was like cool that you were like, ooh. Ooh, that's not good. Don't take Samuel L. Jackson's wallet. That says bad mother on it.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and so, but that was just a lot. Back and forth. And then they were like, what's the suitcase? And you're like, oh God, not the suitcase. The suitcase has been a thing. Like, we gotta just get the suitcase back.
Just like mail it at this point, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm over it.
Yeah, and I feel like the movie ended and I was like, listen, this was exciting. This was a fun movie. I think when you like forget about parts of it and you watch it like years later, it's very fun and exciting, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
You have to like have patience, and I think it would be more enjoyable if you're in that like philosophical mindset, if you will. So like maybe don't be 100% sober.
Yeah, be high. I think if you're like high.
And be with someone else, because then you could probably on your own have your own conversations while the unimportant stuff is happening, and you won't miss anything.
That's literally what Mose and I did. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot. And of course, there's like so many reviews on it. Roger Ebert loved it.
I'm sure you did, Roger.
He loved it. And I think at the time it was really like new and different and exciting. It's just, it's a lot now. It's a lot.
Like his movies, I don't feel this way about all of his movies. I don't feel like there's an excessive amount of unnecessary dialogue. Like I certainly don't feel that way with the Kill Bill movies. I think those are very like...
Perfect.
We're moving, and that's why they're awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, well, the part one is the best one, but, you know, that's fine. But, you know, he's cool. He's just sometimes annoying.
Yeah. But, I mean, would you recommend this movie for people to watch?
Yeah, I would. I would say it's you should watch it at least once. Should you watch it all the time? That depends on your level of patience, in my opinion. So...
watch it with friends, get drunk or high, and know what you're in for, which is kind of light, but kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Like, be prepared.
Well, Bridge, you're going to be really happy about this because I did get a dad quote. What? It's been so long.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I just sent it to you.
Oh my God. I can't wait. I'm going to start it in 1, 2, 3.
All right, Dad. It's been a long time and we really miss you. So,
yeah.
Our movie this week is Pulp Fiction.
Oh.
Mom's doing a dance.
Yeah, and that's all I remember of it.
The dance, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of random stuff in this movie.
The dance, and that crazy guy I like.
Who?
Oh, he's tapping.
Christopher Walken.
Oh my God. He's got a funny camera.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a little gross.
I know, but I forget a lot of it. I can't help you too much there.
All right, well, Christopher, I like it.
Christopher Walken, though, he's worth the price of the movie sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, who knew? So
really,
after...
Dad? That's what you remember?
Okay, but no, he is like downplaying his memory because literally after I stopped recording, he then goes, "Oh, you know what I should have said? I should have said, well, it's a good thing that you didn't have that guy in your back seat that got his head blown off when you went to get your new car, Katie." And I was like, Dad, too soon, but also like, yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to rope him back in as best I can. It'll be a lot easier with summer coming up.
Oh my God, too much.
I know the listeners love our dad quote. We love our dad quotes, so we'll try to get him in for more of them.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, Bridge, I do have a movie pick for you.
Woo!
So we're not quite at our year anniversary yet, but we're getting there.
Okay.
So we've been stuck in the 90s for a really, 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 really long time. And different genres, so that's cool. But I'm taking us out of the 90s. We're going to go in the 2000s.
Okay.
I actually don't know how you feel about this movie, and I hope that you are not horrified at this suggestion. I really like this movie, and I feel like you might like some of it. So it's a drama, mystery, sci-fi.
Oh.
We have not yet done a movie by this director, but this is, like Quentin Tarantino, a very famous director who has kind of a niche movies.
Okay.
So this movie's from 2002, and we've actually done a movie with one of the actors. Yeah, only one, I think.
Oh, wow.
All right, so...
I have no idea.
By M. Night Shyamalan, we're gonna do Signs.
Ooh!
Oh, is that not a good pick?
No, I mean, it's good. Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Joaquin, I love him, yes.
Oh, this one's spooky, though.
Is it spooky? Okay, I don't know. Some people think it's really scary, and then others are like, no.
I've seen it, but a long time ago.
Yeah.
And man, we just love aliens, don't we?
I do. I mean, I don't know if I'm like trying to, steer us in that direction, but actually I thought of this movie because it reminded me somewhat of Pulp Fiction in the sense that M. Night Shyamalan, the way that he does his movies is it is somewhat dialogue heavy, but in my opinion, I do feel his dialogue is a little more on topic, and I actually appreciate his dialogue a little bit more because I feel like it connects to the story a lot more, and it's not always apparent how it connects, but then kind of later on because there's always like a twist or something, right? So then you always find out, oh, that's why they were talking about that and whatever. So yeah.
Wow.
We're going into the farm with the crop circles.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm
excited.
movie.
I feel like I haven't seen this in a bit. You've gotten my scary movie muscle like pumping. And I know this isn't even that scary, but I think that, I don't know, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to kind of break this one apart because it was really unique when it came out. I remember people thinking like this was something different than they've seen before, right?
Yeah, because I think in the order of his movies, like his big one was, of course, The Sixth Sense. And then he also did a movie, I don't know if have you ever seen Unbreakable with Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson? That's a good movie.
No.
But I think he went Sixth Sense, and then I think this movie was next in his lineup. And I think this is a good movie. And I love Joaquin Phoenix. So, go team. Also, the actor we did another movie on was Abigail Breslin.
Oh, she's in this?
She's the daughter. She's like really little in this movie. She's like 5 or 6 or something. This is pre-Little Miss Sunshine. Great, though. Oh, yeah. And then Rory Culkin. We got a Culkin in here.
I love Rory Culkin.
Yep. He's the son.
Oh, man.
And that's kind of it. Mel Gibson, he's Mel Gibson. So
we gotta just move past that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow. Signs it is, folks.
Woo!
And if we happen to see Quentin Tarantino in The Farm as a real alien, won't be surprised. Am I right?
He's like, let me tell you a 20-minute monologue about why I made this crop circle. Here we go. Also, I'm going to turn it into a movie that will then be 4 hours long. Get ready.
He's like, in Amsterdam, they call crop circles stops. What? Quentin, focus.
Oh, that would be a great crossover. I think I could tolerate that a little bit more than maybe some of his other writing. Well, Bridge,
yeah,
I just want to say, if we were at a really cool restaurant that had a theme and everyone was dressed up and we got $5 milkshakes and you wanted to do a dance contest, even if it was in front of people and we were like by ourselves up there, which I hate, I would do it with you. I hate it, but I'd do it.
Kate, if you happen to start taking drugs and thought that those drugs were cocaine when in fact they were heroin, and then you had to be shot with an adrenaline pen, and someone else did it, and then you came back to life, and then you started running around the living room dancing with no shoes on, I'd make sure no one saw that.
Thank you. Don't let Quentin film my feet. Gross. Because he would. Because he's gross like that.
Oh, God. You have me thinking now all different about his movies with feet. Ew.
Tony Bridge, now you just gotta be on the lookout because it's gonna be there.
I don't want to.
I don't either, but now we all are gonna think about it. I know, feet are so gross. Well, listeners, if you also hate feet and don't want to look at them a lot, like us, you should write us a review.
Hey!
We love reviews. We love write it with your feet, but don't show us that because we don't need to look at it at all. So you just do it whatever on your own time in your own place without me seeing. But you can write us a review. We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts and some other podcasting websites and apps. It's always appreciated when we get those. They're very exciting for us to read. The written ones are more exciting because then we get to see your actual thoughts and feelings written out and we can give you a shout out on one of our episodes.
Yes.
So take advantage. We also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. If you would like to request a movie, maybe you're sitting here thinking, who the AF are these ladies who don't like feet and are pooping a little bit on Pulp Fiction. I'm going to request another Quentin Tarantino movie. You can do that.
You can do it. We'll do it. We will do it.
So we do have a form on our website. It's the main page. You scroll down. You can request a movie for us. We have a lineup of movies, and we're kind of on this track. We're trying to get to our 1 year. And once we kind of hit that 1 year and we're past that, we're going to start diving back into our fan requests, because we do have a list. But you will be on the list, and it will get done, and it'll be very exciting. So take advantage of that. We have an email address. I said that earlier, sisterswhoseenit@gmail.com. Feel free to email us if you want to tell us your theory on what was in the suitcase. I have another theory that I just thought of. I think it's Quentin Tarantino's face. And when you open the suitcase, he just starts monologuing about...
Like The Mask? Jim Carrey, The Mask?
Yeah, and then you like close it really quickly, and you're like, oh no, never open that again.
Oh, that reminds me, the evil guy in Jim Carrey's The Mask was the evil cop rapist in this movie.
Oh, that's such a weird connection.
And now I'm picturing Quentin Tarantino's face as the mask, and like each character puts it on, and they're like, oh, and then like he just starts talking for them. Samuel L. Jackson's like, I want to stop talking, but Quentin is in my head.
Oh my god, yes, that's another movie that could be.
Oh my god. And Kate, we have a site that you can buy us coffee.
Oops, I forgot about that. Yes, you can buy us coffee. We do not put 8 Splendas in our coffee.
No,
like our father.
Don't.
No,
we don't.
No,
we like our hearts. We want them to just stay pumping.
Yes, we're not trying to rob any diners. So if you are feeling generous, if you like what we're doing here, you want to see more of us, maybe you want to see some new stuff that we can do, giving us a coffee donation can help do that. We appreciate that so much, and that will give you another shout out, y'all. It will be on the airwaves forever and always.
In the airwaves!
In the airwaves! It will be.
You will be like Danny DeVito everywhere and everything.
Yes! Our executive producer is, and then we'll say your name and whatever you donated. So that'll be you. Yep, exactly. So all those things, check those all out. And yeah, we love all of that. So
love it.
All right. Well,
love you, listeners.
We love you. We will see y'all next week for Signs. Bum bum. Ding ding. Ding 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 ding.
Well, listeners, see you then. And we want that written review, so put it up there.
Yes.
Everybody's got to shake on out, okay? So shake it out. See you later.
Twist on out, but you can keep your shoes on, because don't be gross.
Keep your shoes on. Don't show Quentin your feet, okay? Woo! Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswhoseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.